In this video, I'm gonna go over the Apple Health app and how I track my data inside of this app. Now, recently, I haven't been doing that well with my health. I haven't been exercising as much or getting enough sunlight or getting my sleep perfect, but I want to kind of go on this little journey for the next month or two and see how I can improve my health. So the first thing I'm gonna do is open up this Apple Health app. And as we can see, I have some of these things put as my favorites. Let's go over into activity. And then from here, we'll click on month because we wanna kind of see how I've been doing over the last month. Daily, today's early in the morning. It's 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. So not gonna find much information from the last few hours. And weekly is pretty good, it's not bad, but monthly is pretty good to know how we've been doing in the last month. And so in terms of move, we've hit the goal for 23 out of 31 days, which is a total of 300 calories per day, which is not that much. It's not a huge amount of movement, but still it's good that we're hitting the goal. Exercise, we've hit the goal 12 out of 31 days, which is not great. I'm hoping to hit that at least 4 to 5 times a week of exercise. So we should be getting 20 out of the 31 days of exercise moving forward. And then the stand goal is only 4 out of the 30 days, which, I mean, in today's society, it's very difficult to get 12 hours of standing on a daily basis, depending on your job. And for me, that is kind of a difficult thing to get. Mostly I am, kind of at the computer editing or, at the pharmacy working. Even though we do a lot of standing there, 12 hours of standing is not the norm. So it is kind of difficult to hit that, but I will work on that as well. And I think me exercising and going for runs more often will hit that goal much more consistently. Body fat percentage is around 15 to 20%. I'm not really entirely sure. I don't even know why it has 15% here and when I input that. October 2021, why I put 15%, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's around the 20% mark. Now, something that's very important here is cardio fitness. Now, if you focus on Peter Attia, he really focuses on VO2 max and zone 2 training. So that's something I really want to focus on in the next 2 months. And the way that works, we're going to do 45 minutes of a pretty slow pace of running, basically being able to carry a conversation, but not wanting to carry that conversation. So it's easy enough where you can talk to someone, but hard enough where you don't want to. And then once a week, you kind of do a all-out training, and this is to really improve your VO2 max. So for this, we're going to do the 4 on, 4 off. So 4 minutes of going hard and then 4 minutes of rest. Repeat that 5 times for 1 week. And after a while, you should see a big improvement in your VO2 max. And even here from the last few days, we've seen an increase in VO2 max, but that could kind of be an outlier. But for the most part, my VO2 max has been around 32.5, which is not that great. It's kind of average, or I think it might even be barely above or barely below average, to be honest. I really want to improve that or really get that much, much higher. So by running in the next 2 months, focusing on zone 2 and then doing that once a week, hardcore 4 on, 4 off method, I really hope to increase my VO2 max. Hopefully I can get it in the high 40s in the next 2 months and then kind of keep going and improving, every single day from there on out. So that's cardio fitness. Heart rate, I'm not a really big fan of a heart rate because there's a lot of variation. This is just kind of telling you your overall heart rate, which is not really useful because you don't know if you were walking, running, or sleeping at that time, even though you can have like the time trend on the bottom. You do see the time zones there, but it's not really that helpful. So I'm not really focused on heart rate just to make sure that it doesn't go too low or too high. That's kind of the only reason why you would want this data. Now, the next thing here is heart rate variability. Now this, I want it to be a little bit higher, even though the average does say 62. For someone my age in their early 30s, it's not that bad, but I do want to increase that because higher levels do show that it is healthier for an individual. So that is something also I want to focus on. But for now, we've pretty much been averaging in the low 40s, high 30s for the most part. Let's go in the last month, see what it is. Average of 36, not great. I really, really need to improve that. And I think by running and doing all that other stuff, focusing on my diet and my exercise, I can improve these numbers greatly. Let's move on to respiratory rate. This is not bad, 12 breaths per minute. Everything is fine here. But again, I do want to improve that. Let's see how low we can get that by being healthy and, kind of obviously not passing out or anything like that. But we want to kind of focus on getting that down as well. Next thing is resting heart rate. Now on average in the last month, it's been 67. I do want to get that below 60. That is something I want to focus on. It's very difficult to do, especially if you're not really an athlete. But again, me running and me focusing on my diet and my weight and stuff like that, to kind of really zone in on those things. I really think I could get that under 60 in the next 2 months. And if not below 60, then at least trending down, because for right now, we can see that there is no trend. The average is 67 or 68 beats per minute in the last month, and that's not great. Let's look in the last 6 months and see what happened. Again, no trend, exactly the same. And in the last year, it says unavailable, but again, that trend looks exactly the same. Nothing really changed there. So again, resting heart rate is something I really want to focus on, and cardio fitness should help with that. So we're going to look at those numbers in 2 months, kind of come back to it and see where we're at. Now we'll skip sleep for now and come back to it, as that's very important, very, very crucial. But I want to come back to that in a little bit later because I want to kind of go over all the activity stuff beforehand. Now steps, something I need to really work on. In the last month, I've only gotten an average of 6,500 steps per day. That is pretty much embarrassing. I'm not a fan of that. I really need to increase that to be in better shape and in better health. I want to at least double that in the next month or two on average, get that up to 13,000 steps a day at the minimum. Even though a lot of health data says a minimum of 10,000 steps is beneficial, I want to kind of exceed that and build good habits and build good trends. So hopefully we can increase that, get that up to 13,000 steps per day, as there was only 2 days in the last month where I went over 10,000 steps. This is absolutely embarrassing. Now, there are days that I don't wear my Apple Watch and I don't have my phone on me at all times. So these numbers could be a little skewed. They all should be a little bit higher, but it's definitely not double, right? This is pretty accurate. It might be maybe an average of 7,500 steps, but that's something that I need to kind of focus on and kind of get my steps up, because walking and jogging and all those things are very, very good for cardiovascular health. So that's something I want to improve heavily. In terms of trend, again, we just see 6,800 steps on average. Now, next thing we'll go over is weight. So right now I'm weighing in at 157 pounds. I just bought a scale that will automatically input that data when I step on the scale into my Apple Health. So I don't have to actually log anything. It'll just automatically do it, which is great. I'll put a link in the description below, so if you want to purchase it, you can yourself. But that is something I really want to focus on. I don't really necessarily want to lose 10 to 15 pounds, but I do want to kind of lose maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds, try to add muscle at the same time. I haven't worked out in a while, so it can be possible for me to add muscle and lose weight at the same time. So that is something I want to kind of see if I could do. If not, even if my weight remains the same, if I feel like I've gained muscle, I'll be happy with that. I just don't want to gain any fat. So by weighing myself, we'll see how it goes in terms of my weight. All right, now let's go into sleep. Now, sleep data is mostly tracked through the Apple Watch. Now, Apple's sleep data is pretty good, but the only problem is it doesn't really give you any sleep score. So I can kind of see one number and has it improved or has it declined in the last month or two. So I am looking to get another sleep app to be able to see sleep numbers and see how my sleep quality is doing over the last month or two. And the app I'm probably going to go with is Sleep Cycle. I've used it before, so some of my data should already be there, but I want to kind of get it going again so I can get a sleep quality score and things that I can do to improve my sleep. For now, let's just look at what the Apple sleep data has. So average time in bed, 9.5 hours. Average time asleep, 7.5 hours, a little bit less than that. Obviously, that's not great. I really want to focus on being at my desk to do work and being in my bed to sleep. I really want to change that behavior and get it in that way, because I don't want to be in bed working, because then your body doesn't really understand, are you trying to sleep? Are you trying to work? What's going on when you're in this position? So that's something I really want to focus on, reduce my average time in bed and increase my average time sleep. Let's look at more sleep data here. Now, I have an Apple Watch, but it's the Series 3. And today I'm going to go buy a new Apple Watch because I really want to be able to track these things very accurately. Today I'm going to get a new Apple Watch and we're going to see average awake, average REM, average core, average deep sleep, and all that kind of stuff in the last month and see how it's improved. But again, Sleep Cycle is probably going to be a better app, a little more detailed app than this one. So for here, we just kind of get average time in bed, average time of sleep, and then our average awake, REM, core, and deep sleep amounts. And although that's pretty good, it's not bad. It could be better. Now, respiratory rate during sleep, again, this is something that we're going to kind of look at and look for trends. Heart rate during sleep, again, we're going to look for trends. Now for these, obviously we want to decrease as much as possible, but still remaining at a healthy amount. We don't want to decrease them too much, but that is something I want to see, and hopefully the trends go in the right direction. So that's kind of it for now. This is my current Apple Health sleep data. Again, I'm going to get a Sleep Cycle app to kind of track my sleep better. And I'm probably going to get Chronometer, which is a good app for me to track my, macro calories in terms of carbs, fats, and protein. So I can see what I'm eating, how many calories I'm getting, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to focus on Zone 2 training to increase my VO2 max. I'm going to do some strength training to increase my muscle mass. And I'm really going to focus on the Huberman sleep protocol by getting, 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning and creating a routine for my sleep in terms of when I'm going to go to sleep and when I'm going to wake up, and try to keep that consistent every single day. Although that will be difficult over the weekends. That is obvious. But for the most part, I do want to see, 5 or 6 days out of the week for me to improve those things. And following that for at least 1 to 2 months will definitely improve the trends, and definitely we'll see, where things are going and if these things have actually improved my health. Even though all of this is trackable data and we can see, how well everything is going and if things are moving in the right direction, that's great. But the most important thing is how I feel overall. So I want to feel my best. I want to feel great every single day waking up. That's mostly what I'm going to be measuring, and Apple does track that with the mental well-being. You have to kind of input it yourself. But that is something that I'm definitely going to be doing to kind of see how I've been feeling over the last month or two, to kind of gauge how my mood has changed in the last 2 months. Really, really good stuff. Apple Health is doing great in terms of, optimizing health. And that's something I really want to focus on in the next 2 months. So I'll keep you guys updated with how things are going. I will have more updates as it goes. I'm not going to just do it one now and 1 in 2 months. We'll kind of see how we're feeling as time goes. But in 2 months, we're going to look at the before and the after and see how things have gone. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.